10 News Today continues.
Welcome back to 10 News Today. I'm Russell Biven. A Knoxville teen is dead following an accident this morning. Authorities say 16-year-old Rebecca Winkler was traveling down Central Avenue Pike when a Jeep crossed over the lane and hit her. The driver of that vehicle was 47-year-old Thomas Rand Jr. Both Winkler and Rand were taken to UT Medical Center, where Winkler passed away. And in another case, a young man almost 17 years old was hit and killed by a drunk driver. Josh Green was driving just a half mile from his house when he was struck by a car driven by Jimmy Wayne Perkey, who had 2 previous DUIs and 2 arrests for public intoxication. Green, who loved playing guitar and hanging out with family and friends, was just 16 years old.
And I think you were about 4 days old before I finally got to come down to the nursery to see you. And when I did see you, you had beautiful blue eyes. You still have beautiful blue eyes. You have beautiful hair that will... Everybody talks about how beautiful your hair is and how thick it is. And your smile. I think every girl thinks about the first time they have a baby. It's a wonderful, magical, exciting time. And your dad got to go do a lot of the visits with me. And we saw you on the ultrasound. And you were kicking. And you always hit your face. I don't care how many times we tried to look at your face, Hayden. You always hit your face. And I had this nice little round basketball belly. And you would kick. And there was one night you kicked your father in the back. And he thought it was me. Just 2-3 miles from the house. And I noticed on the left, on the opposite side of the road, there were 2 cars coming. And the other car, the second car, was really close. And so I thought, it's teenagers playing. I thought nothing else about it. I realized this car, the second car, came out from around the first car. And I was staring at his headlights. And the thought went through my mind, what is he doing? And before I could finish my thought, we hit.
Okay, Josh, here's your dream car, pal. It's the black, just like you want. The nice Cobra wheels like you want. It's got the V8 engine in it that you want. The custom design interior that you want. I hope it's something that you really enjoy and you have fun with your friends and just enjoy it. Everybody needs to have a dream car, and you got yours.
Another case, a young man almost 17 years old was hit and killed by a drunk driver. Josh Green was driving just a half mile from his house when he was struck by a car driven by Jimmy Wayne Perkey. Green, who loved playing guitar and hanging out with family and friends, was just 16 years old.
It was on a Sunday, about 8 o'clock in the evening, and me and my husband and my son were relaxing in the living room watching TV. We just came back from Clearwater, Florida on vacation, and a knock came on the door, and all you could see a silhouette was a state trooper's hat, and beside him were our next door neighbors. and they let us know that Kayla had been involved in an accident and she did make it.
We were dispatched to a car wreck. When we pulled up, I saw a lot of skid marks, which tells me it's going to be a very high-speed MVA. Noticed there were some speed bumps, which come to find out they wanted to jump those speed bumps to get that feel, that adrenaline kick. Upon looking further, saw that they had actually hit a tree, high-speed impact. And it was a terrible wreck. They're not going to make it.
There was no drugs involved. There was no alcohol involved. These were good kids that just did something stupid. These kids died in vain. They made a silly choice on something silly that cost them their lives that didn't involve anything bad. They weren't bad kids. They didn't do bad things. They didn't rob people. They made good grades in school. They went to church. They were great community leaders who, for a split second, did something really stupid in a car, jumping a hump.
I went and picked Joshua up from a high school football game, and I was going to bed, and Josh was going to bed, and he hugged me and told me, he says, "I love you, Mama." The next thing is I get a call at 2 o'clock in the morning that Josh has been in a car wreck. He's in an ER on a ventilator and not doing very well. He was in a coma. He had tubes coming out of his head, his nose, his mouth, IVs. I never expected it. He evidently had decided that he knew better and that with a permit he could drive his Mustang, and he had his car wreck on his way back to the house where you could actually see where he wrecked from the house. He's like, "Guess I'll hold on." His last words to me was, "I love you, Mom."
Hayden wasn't okay. The crash caused Robin's placenta to burst and there was no oxygen getting to the womb.
I hadn't been home 5 minutes and I heard Lifestar overhead.
Robin had not arrived home and Chris had a feeling something was wrong.
And I said a little prayer.
He called a friend at UT Hospital and asked her to check the ER. Minutes later, she called back.
And the next thing I know, I have a doctor in my face and he says, "You're gonna have your baby tonight."
Hayden's kidneys weren't functioning, and other internal trauma caused severe brain injury.
One doctor tells us that she'll never grow really big, said she'll be very small. Another doctor said if she lives 5 years to 10 years, you'll be blessed.
And they have a monitor set up in my room so I could see you because you were in the nursery. Actually, the NICU. You were in the NICU. Hey.
Hello, I am Johnny McDonald, a lieutenant with the Tennessee Highway Patrol. I've been employed as a Tennessee State Trooper for the past 23 years, and during this time I have witnessed many individuals' poor decisions that resulted in a tragic end. As for Josh Green, his life ended at 16. his father was left to finish Josh's dream alone through Josh's dream car. Kayla Sheehan was active in many extracurricular activities at school and within the community. But as her mother stated, every choice has a consequence, and sometimes that consequence is your life. For Kayla, it was her life. Josh Reed's poor decision caused his family to anguish over his prolonged death, which lasted 4 years. For Hayden, her future is still uncertain, but one of permanent disabilities. The outcome of Hayden's tragedy resulted in Hayden's rule. The hope of Hayden's rule is to deter injuries and save lives on the roadway. Please think before you act. Make good decisions. What you have witnessed is real life.